Whether new shooter, longtime gun owner, or even police officer or soldier, your handgun needs a Crimson Trace laser sight or light. Get the confidence and reliability you need to protect family, home, and country. Crimson Trace.
I'm a gun owner.
Your views, advice, and questions are the driving force of Gun Talk.
You know, I don't think that guns are scary things.
Visit us online at www.guntalk.com. Call Tom now at 866-TALK-GUN, 866-825-5486. Let us know what you think about the gun-related issues of the day. Now, back to Gun Talk.
Oh, so much to talk about. A lot of news to give out here. We'll be talking about some new products here in just a second. I did have this email I'd gotten from Joseph B. Joseph said, I always listen to the podcast. I can't call in and ask this question. I was wondering if your listeners might know of anyone who's making a suppressor mount for an SKS. And if so, is anyone loading or reloading 7.62x39 subsonic? Seems like that could be a good, cheap alternative to a 300 blackout. Yes, it does, Joseph. So, question on the floor is, anybody making suppressor mounts for SKS? And do you know of anybody making subsonic 7.62x39 ammo? Good question. Give us a holler, 866-TALK-GUN. Speaking of good guns, new guns, one of the companies that is just setting the world on fire right now is Mossberg. And joining us to talk about that is Tom Taylor to tell us what's new. So, Tom, what's new?
Well, hi, Tom. How are you? I
am good. You guys, it just seems like every time I talk to you, you got like a whole stack of new things you're announcing.
Yeah, we've really been working toward trying to make sure that we're innovative and bringing things to the market that meet needs or find needs we didn't know we had. That's one of the keys, I think, to new items is striking a fancy with somebody when you're not exactly sure, how it's going to do. I mean, all the consumer research you do never tells you exactly for sure which ones are going to, be hits and which ones aren't.
Right. So
so we're working toward some of it we can't quite talk about today. You and I talked about that. We'll get on probably a little bit closer to SHOT Show and talk about the whole gamut we're going to have for 2015. But we're one of the things we're working toward is Mossberg over the last since we've introduced bolt action rifles. I don't know. 5 or 6 years ago, now it's been 6 or 7 years ago. We've vectored around quite a bit and looking for the right combination of features, and we've had moderately higher end guns, mid-tier guns and so forth. But we're getting ready to simplify that, and Mossberg is looking to move toward a new bolt action rifle in 2015 that's going to simplify our line and really make it what we think is going to be the best price quality rifle on the market today.
Now, of course, you have this breakthrough MVP series. Is this the new rifle going to be part of that series?
Well, that's an interesting question. It's not. That's not the platform. We have quite a bit of new news also coming on the MVP line. We've That rifle has been so well received, as it accepts the AR magazines in both the 223, and then when you move to the 308, which came out last year, it not only does it accept AR mags, but it accepts both DPMS and M1A or M14 style magazines. So, we have several new products that we can go over a little later in the year that are going to take that platform to a little bit even higher level in terms of kind of where that's going. When we introduced that platform, we thought it would be just a niche product, and it has been anything but a niche product. It's really taken the bolt action rifle world by storm, and we're just going to keep moving the quality level, not the quality level, but the feature level up on that platform.
Okay.
But the new product that we're going to be working toward, it'll actually be shipping by the first of the year. Is a standard bolt-action rifle, and Mossberg has really worked toward listening to its consumers. And one of the things we heard, we had actually between the MVP and our two bolt-action categories, the ATR and the 4x4, we had 3 different stock styles and different bolts, different things, and we just decided to really standardize that into one rifle. The MVP line will stay as one platform with the AR magazines, but we're going to go to a new box magazine-fed bolt-action rifle system in 2015. So
now, will it be based off the 4x4 or the ATR, or is this something completely different from those?
Most of the action, the thing that we've always been very pleased with, even though we have our ATR being an opening price point product and the 4x4 being kind of a level up from that, we've always had good accuracy. We've always had good performance. It's never been about that. It's just been that Mossberg's kind of been, diluted in terms of the message. And so most of the attributes on this new gun, at least in the action, are going to come off of our 4x4. With a box-fed magazine, but we've made some modifications, particularly to the bolt. One thing that people, especially people with larger hands or gloves, didn't like about our rifles is as the bolt sweeps back, it can get right on your knuckle or just off your knuckle, and that can either cause recoil issues, or if you have big, thick gloves on, if you tick that bolt up a little bit, it takes you out of battery, and that causes all kinds of problems. So we've really changed that bolt angle and got that off your knuckle, and a lot of really good things about the shape of the stock. I mean, what we really did is took a look at consumer preference, and you can talk about Model 700s. The Remington is certainly a classic, and then the Winchester Model 70 is certainly a classic, and so. In talking to people, we pretty much emulated the Model 70 stock, and our point of view is you really can't go wrong with that stock design.
I was just going to say, how do you go wrong with that? That's like the perfect rifle stock for like 4 generations of people.
Well, you can go try and reinvent something, which we kind of did with our other stocks, and we did a lot of research on comb and scope height and all that kind of stuff, especially on the 4x4 stock, which to this day we still believe is a really good stock. But when people look at it, it just it's different, and
it looks different.
When you can go back and you can talk about the Model 70, it just why try to fix something that is broken?
Let me see if I'm reading this right. Trying to read between the lines. What I think I hear you saying is that we're going to take, we being Mossberg, you're going to take the upscale features of the 4x4, which is a more of an upscale rifle. It's a really cool rifle, and frankly, I think it's been terribly underappreciated, and make those available in a somewhat less expensive, more value-priced, so you get all the features but have to pay less. Am I reading between the lines okay here?
Yeah, that's exactly where we're going. When we challenge our engineers with something, they've been really good at coming back to us with alternatives to figure out ways to do things that keep the quality in but meet our demands. And what we wanted to do was, the market right now, if you look at the top bolt-action rifles, the Savage, Axis, the Ruger American, some of those guns that are doing really well in the market today, they're all box-fed. And to get the Mossberg box-fed, you had to go to the 4x4, which is a little higher price point. So we took a lot of the features out of that action and figure out a way to getting into our value price platform, the ATR price point, and that's kind of where we're going. So yeah, you're going to be able to hit the price point, but I think, in all honesty, a better rifle. I mean, just to hit it, we're going to have a fluted bolt, which a lot of people really enjoy that for several reasons, not the least of which is starts with just aesthetics, and then goes on to a couple of other issues with regard to, or good issues in terms of drag on the bolt and that kind of thing. It'll also have a fluted barrel. It'll have an adjustable trigger, of course, as I mentioned, the Model 70 stock. So when you see this rifle on the shelf, I think you're gonna be really, really impressed. And we'll have it in pretty much a variety of, probably the top 10 calibers. You can everything from 22, 250, or 243 all the way up to 300 Win Mag, and we're actually be introducing a new caliber and a big game gun. That's another little bit of new news on this line. Is the 375 Ruger. So
really,
we did a little bit of research, or actually a lot of research, and looked at some of the big game calibers. And right now, 375 Ruger gives you everything you need for a big game caliber, but a little longer range performance. So if you wanted it to do everything from North American elk all the way up to I just had one of those, one of our prototypes over in Africa a few weeks ago on a Cape Buffalo hunt, and it certainly did everything we needed it to do on Cape Buffaloes.
That's very interesting. It's funny because we just had Larry Weisshuhn on here. As it's out of the blue, I just asked him, I said, Larry, if you had to pick one caliber to go hunt everything with, what would it be? And I'm thinking he's going to go with 30-06 or 300 Mag. He says 375 Ruger. I went, really? And then I had no idea you were going to announce this today. So this is kind of the juxtaposition of these two happening at the same time makes me stop and go, I'm going to go back and take a look at the 375 Ruger and find out what I'm missing on this one.
Well, I think, and when we were heading to Africa, we were just trying to decide what. I mean, this was almost a year ago. I spoke to Craig Boddington, and most people that read or watch TV or whatever know that Craig's one of the foremost authorities on hunting in Africa, and and asked him what he thought, and he said, "Hey, rather than recreating the wheel with a whole new receiver, he said you can use the same action length as a 30-06 or your long actions and do it with a 375 Ruger, get long range performance, plenty of stopping power, and not have to recreate the wheel with a fully new sized receiver." So we started testing it, asking questions, and we found out that for North American brown bear, Alaskan, North American brown bear, Cape buffalo, anything like that, you've got a round that's going to do everything you need. I mean, it's an awesome elk round.
It would be. Sure. So anyway, I got two last questions for you. One is price, and the other is when.
Well, the price point, I'd say you're going to be looking at, and I'm not going to talk about hot sales and things like that, which retailers will be doing. But I'd say on the standard, opening price point, composite stock, blue, matte blue finish with no scope, that no scope combo, that kind of thing. You're probably looking at $349 to $369 on the opening price point. Nice. And then once you start doing laminate stocks and walnut stocks and marine coat and some of those finishes that we do, the weatherproof finishes, you could probably be as high as $449, maybe with a scoped combo $549. And then we'll probably go up from there because we're looking at doing some upscale optic partnerships and some things like that. But just on the baseline, I'd say you're going to range from $349, $369 to certainly no more than $500, $529 at the top end of that. So you're looking at
when are we
really
going to see these?
You will start seeing these around the first. They'll be shipping by the first of the year. And next time we'll talk a little bit more about the branding on these because I think you're really going to be excited about the branding.
Yeah, I kind of got an idea where you're going with that one. And then in just a very, very few weeks, we're going to be able to talk about a lot of the new stuff you got because I know you got a whole stack of them ready to go.
Long list for you, Tom.
All right, thanks, Tom. Appreciate it. Tom Taylor from Mossberg. Hey, very cool new bolt rifle. Down in that between 350 and 400 is where the sweet spot seems to be right now for these really nice, accurate rifles with good triggers. I mean, honestly, we've never had it so good. Amazing stuff. All right, 866-TALK-GUN. What's on your mind? Don't like guns? Hey, tell me about it. I'll put you at the front of the line and I'll give you the floor. 866-TALK-GUN.
At Double Tap Ammunition, we hand inspect every round that we make, and we use only the best components to give you the best ammunition on the market. Try us out at www.doubletapammo.com and use the promo code GUNTALK for 10% off your order.
You already know Liberty Safes are great values. Now they're offering an even sweeter deal for Gun Talk listeners. At LibertySafe.com, click on the Fat Boy Safe and type in Tom. Liberty will give you up to $250 off your purchase. Protect the things you value most. LibertySafe.com. Click the Fat Boy Safe. Promo code TOM. Save up to $250. That's LibertySafe.com. LibertySafe.com.
You may be a new shooter, a longtime gun owner, or even a police officer or soldier. No personal defense handgun is fully equipped without a Crimson Trace laser sight or light. Get the confidence and reliability you need to protect family, home, and country. Call 800-442-2406 or visit crimsontrace.com for a free copy of our new laser training video, The Laser's Edge, Crimson Trace.
Everyone talks about heroes, people who do amazing things in extraordinary situations. Well, I'm no hero. I'm just a guy who wants to protect his family, to keep them safe the best I can. It's my duty as a husband, as a father, and I won't ever let them down.
Introducing the Carry-On series from Taurus, the ultimate collection of concealed carry firearms designed for discreet, reliable personal protection. Visit TaurusUSA.com to learn more.
Carry on.
Hi, I'm Tom Gresham. For more than 40 years, I've been watching an environmental disaster in my backyard, and it actually impacts all sportsmen in America. I'm talking about the massive loss of land on the Louisiana coastline. The U.S. Geological Survey said the swamps and marshes of coastal Louisiana are among the nation's most fragile and valuable wetlands. That land is disappearing. The Mississippi River Delta hosts as many as 10 million ducks and geese every winter. These are birds which migrate northward through the states, all the way to Canada. The wetlands of the Delta support some of America's best fresh and saltwater fishing. And here's the deal. The wetlands of the Mississippi River Delta are disappearing at a rate of 1 football field every hour. 1 football field every hour. Gone. We can reconnect the river with its wetlands and restore the Delta, but we need your help. Please visit vanishingparadise.org. That's vanishingparadise.org.
Accurate, powerful, consistent. At Double Tap Ammunition, we offer 364 loads in 83 calibers that give you exactly what you've been looking for. Try us out at www.doubletapammo.com and use the promo code GUNTALK for 10% off your order.
Stay connected with Gun Talk. Download the Gun Talk app for your smartphone and like us on Facebook at facebook.com/Gun Talk Media and at youtube.com/Gun Talk TV. Now more Gun Talk.
Absolutely. And if you missed any of the shows, you can always listen to them later. You can pick them up on iTunes. You can go to... Didn't even think I hadn't mentioned this to you, but we're putting all the Gun Talk shows, the radio shows, on YouTube as videos, so you can play those while you're doing something else. Speaking of which, just last week I did a read. It wasn't from the Grits on Guns book this time. This was an article that my father wrote. It was published in the 1964 October issue of Outdoor Life. It was a story of my first deer when I was 11 years old, shooting a semi-automatic .308 rifle. 11-year-old using a semi-automatic high-power rifle. Yes. I hope you, if you listen to it, I'd love to get your feedback on it. If you haven't, by all means, go check it out. It's called A Deer of Thanksgiving. Had a lot of fun reading that one, and we'll be doing some more like that as we go along. Speaking of things I have enjoyed, have you seen the new ad campaign from the NRA? I've seen some of their commercials running on sports events, and I have to tell you, I think it's one of the finest things I've seen out of the NRA in decades. Just really super commercials, 60s and 90-second commercials. I'll tell you what, I've got one queued up here. Now, obviously, this is video, but I think it works very well as audio. And you can go on YouTube and you can just put in NRA commercials and take a listen or watch them. But I'd love to get your take if you have seen these and what was your reaction to them. Here's one of them from the NRA's campaign.
What's gone wrong with our country? It seems more and more like we're surrounded by people on edge. You feel it at the office, where too many bosses bully and belittle anyone beneath them. And then comes rush hour, where traffic crawls and tempers flare, and the road belongs to the angriest among us. This poison even infests little leagues and soccer tournaments. From the stands and sidelines, you've watched parents unleash unimaginable behavior upon their own kids. This isn't right, and it can't last. All of this anger destroys trust and teamwork, and give it time, our nation. So how do we turn it around? It starts with everyone who still believes in civility, responsibility, and virtue. Men and women who can disagree without disrespect, who lead by example and believe in something bigger than a drop ball or a rough day. The good guys. you'll find 5 million of us in the National Rifle Association of America. We're moms and dads, teachers and coaches, your neighbors and friends on the road, and we know how to make a difference. It's time we honor the good guys again. If you feel how we feel, join us.
I'll tell you, I think it is a grand idea. I think it's a great concept. And for 20 years here on the radio, what have I been saying? We're the good guys. We're the ones you don't hear about. We're the ones that don't make the papers. We're the good guys and the good gals, the ones that own guns responsibly, shoot guns responsibly. We store our guns responsibly and safely. I think the NRA's Good Guys campaign is a super idea. And notice, they never mention guns or shooting. They're talking values and morals, things that people can get together on. And the point is, if you feel this way about these other issues, and they have a whole lot of them in their Good Guys campaign, then we're just like you. You're just like us. And perhaps you may want to consider joining us because we all have a lot in common. I don't know who put this together. I'm going to try to get somebody from the NRA on here. But I'm wondering, have you seen any of these on TV? If you have, I'd love to get your reaction. Did you react the same way I did? First time I saw it, I'm watching the commercial going, yeah, that's good, man. I really like that. Had no idea where it was coming from. And then at the end, it says the NRA. I went, yes, outstanding. I mean, just wow. From, frankly, an NRA that has been, to some extent, tone deaf, has certainly been challenged at messaging, at least to the general public. I think these are home runs. By the way, if you agree with all of that, if you would like to renew or like to get an NRA membership, we can do that easily at guntalk.com. We've negotiated. We got a special price for you. It's $10 off the annual membership, and you can even get an associate membership for only $10. Just go to guntalk.com, and we've got the link right there. You can join NRA. Man, I tell you, a lot of things to talk about. When we come back, we'll be doing exactly that. We'll be talking about, well, the Hunter Education Association and the good things that it does. Don't go far. Gun Talk will be coming right back.
One of Talker Magazine's 100 most important radio talk show hosts in America. You're listening to Gun Talk, heard every week at this time on great radio stations across America. Stay tuned. Gun Talk is coming right back.
Obviously, fall is in the air. In many parts of the country, it's already here, and a lot of folks are thinking about getting ready to go hunting. Well, you know, you can't really talk about hunting without talking about hunter education, and we're really lucky right now to be joined by Steve Hall from the International Hunter Education Association. Now, I hear that you just got back from an elk hunt. How'd you do?
Oh, I hiked many hundreds of miles.
Uh-oh.
I did really well. No, we saw elk every day, but they just weren't really coming to our calls as nicely as we thought we could get them in.
Now, were you bow hunting?
Yes, bow hunting.
Ah, okay. Well, that's usually a good way to get some good exercise, and if you're lucky, you might get some meat. Otherwise, you're just going to get a lot of good views out there. All right, well, tell me what IHEA actually is.
Well, it's a professional association of all the hunter education administrators throughout the country, and of course, we cooperate throughout North America as well. And the mission of the association is to produce safe, responsible, knowledgeable hunting and shooting practices. And the mission in terms of all the states is collectively they train and certify an active force of 58,000 instructors who train about 670,000 students annually. So it's a huge program, huge effort, and of course it's reduced accidents by well over 2/3 in most of the country since the 60s, and it's improved compliance and behaviors of hunters.
Now, International Hunter Education Association, this is a group of hunter safety instructors, is that correct?
Mostly administrators who, again, oversee the programs in each of their states.
Oh, okay. For these are the folks who actually run the program in each state.
Correct. And most of them, of course, all of them work for state fish and wildlife agencies, but most of them employ volunteer instructors, and that's where the 58,000 instructors come from throughout the country.
Gotcha. Now, what's involved in becoming a hunter safety instructor?
Mostly they just contact their Fish and Wildlife Agency, their hunter ed administrator, and then they've got a process by which to go through. Most of them take the student course, and then an instructor course.
Walk me through the evolution, how we got to the place where we are now, where hunter safety instruction is required before you can go hunting. I mean, how was it before, and how did we get here?
Well, actually, it's very historic. New York in 1949 passed the first mandatory hunter education law in the country. So if you look back in the 50s, when the folks were returning from wars and stuff and getting that time to go hunting again, there were quite a high accident rate back then in the 50s and 60s. And so to counteract that, they passed laws to try to require folks to go through some sort of safety training before they entered the woods. And since that time, all 50 states have had some sort of mandate that requires hunter education either before purchasing a license or before hunting a field.
And you say that has resulted in a greatly reduced accident rate.
Correct. And along about the 80s, they instituted more on the compliance of laws and especially ethics kinds of things, and so they were trying to get at also just to make sure that hunters being in the public eye, the one thing that the non-hunting public expects of hunters is proper behavior. Hunters today, are the number one conservationists, and certainly for them to continue the sport or to continue the heritage, as we call it, they have to behave properly, I feel, because more and more the public not only demands that, but they see it more and more, even on TV shows and everything else.
Well, one of the things that research has shown over the years, I know you are aware of this, is that part of the public that says they don't support hunting, turns out when you start doing a little digging, they really don't have a problem with hunting. What they don't like is hunters who don't behave correctly.
That's correct. And then, it starts with accidents. If you're shooting somebody, it ends up on the front page.
Well, one of the things I have done in the past, when somebody would say, well, look, I want to get my son or my daughter into shooting. They don't mention hunting. And they say, well, I want to, my son wants a gun. My daughter wants to learn how to shoot. And I always tell them, look, why don't you take advantage of the fact that you've got free training through the hunter safety program in your state?
Yeah, many states require live firing exercises as part of the hunter education course, and so naturally they do get a lot of folks that are just interested in learning about safety, guns in the home, shooting.
Well, it's learning about guns, because as part of the instruction, you're going to learn about guns and cartridges and shot shells and kind of the basics of firearms.
Yeah, and in fact, some states, even like Hawaii, for example, require folks that own handguns to go through hunter education.
There are people who have been doing this for 2 generations. I mean, that's to a certain extent, for some people, that becomes their activity, their hobby, their mission in life, is that they have trained hundreds and then thousands of youngsters in hunter safety through the years.
Yeah, in fact, it's incredible. I've seen in states like California where you meet people all the time that have been certifying students for well over 50 years, and you think about that, and it's amazing, if you think about it. But it is. Both vocation is an avocation as well, and we're all in it for life. We'll be teaching for a long time, and it's the give back stage. It's giving back of one's knowledge and skills.
What are the big challenges facing hunting as a sport, as an activity, as a heritage?
If you look at it from a high level, you're thinking about conservation in general, and hunters are the ones that foot the bill for conservation. So if you don't have hunters, we're going to have some real problems going forward in the future, just managing wildlife. And then if you look at hunter education in particular, I think what you're seeing is a whole different generation of, I call it the wired generation, or the selfie generation, where you really kind of, everybody is wired up 24/7, and it's just an interesting way that people learn nowadays. And so hunter education has to adapt to that. and certainly being mobile friendly, for example, the information, not only the information, but the certification processes. And we're working hard with internet providers and people that do those kinds of technologies to really kind of reach this new generation, because that's how they learn, that's how they act. Everything is by phone.
Can you get your hunter safety education online now?
Correct. Many states are passing where you get options to take online training, and then, of course, hopefully follow that up with the field, what we call a field course, and that's where that live firing and the fun comes in as well. But online information, if you look at it, 70% now of this generation learn from apps and mobile units, not even computers. And if you think about that, you're thinking, wow, we really need to adapt to that change and really try to get that information to them. The good news is we really are. I mean, in the states that have gone online processes have actually increased their numbers, by thousands of individuals. So it means that awareness is kicking up. We're getting more certifications and hopefully, of course, more hunters that way. And then that equals conservation.
Well, I'm looking at your website, and it's ihea.com. You got tons of information there about not just hunter safety, but about regulations, about the reduction in hunting accidents. You got all sorts of news about programs, research, lots of things. So people who want more information, I'm sure they can go there and just find out whatever they want. It's ihea.com. And for somebody who's thinking, I would like to become a hunter safety instructor, probably your outfit is a good place to start.
Yeah, they can look up their state's administrator. If they're from a particular state, just go to the administrator link and see who that is, and they can essentially contact their own agency and get involved.
Sounds good. And, of course, right now is the time. If you need to take a hunter safety class, you better get yourself signed up because they get real busy this time of year, don't they?
Yeah, in fact, we're kind of right in the middle of the busy season, and it does kick up over Thanksgiving, as you can imagine, and also Christmas.
Well, Steve, thank you so much. This is Steve Hall. He is the Executive Director of the International Hunter Education Association. I hope you get that elk next time out there, man.
I've got one weekend left, so hopefully that'll be the weekend that they really respond.
All right, fingers crossed. And look, thanks so much for sharing your information with us. All right, 866-TALK-GUN. Be right back with more Gun Talk.
Inaccurate is just plain worthless. Doesn't matter if you're shooting for a national championship or just trying to beat your friend. You need accurate ammo. Nosler's match-grade handgun ammunition delivers. You get Nosler sporting handgun and custom competition bullets in Nosler head-stamped brass, loaded to the same strict tolerances as Nosler's match-grade rifle ammo. Handgun accuracy through match-grade ammo. Available in 9mm, 40, and 45. Visit Nosler.com.
TopGunSupply.com carries a large selection of fine firearms and accessories. Get all the parts you need for your Sig Sauer, HK, and Glock pistols. Grips, screws, recoil springs, sights, barrels, magazines, holsters. The list goes on. Our knowledgeable sales staff, professional service, great prices, and super fast shipping are here to help you. Check us out today. TopGunSupply.com. TopGunSupply.com.
Hey everyone, I'm Doug Koenig, winner of more than 60 national and world shooting championships. You know what? I'm here to tell you that the only thing I like better than competitive matches with high-powered pistols and better than hunting big whitetail deer is watching NRA Freedom Friday presented by Cheaper Than Dirt on the Pursuit Channel. It's true what they say. Pursuit Channel delivers the outdoors.
36 years, the U.S. Sportsmen's Alliance has been fighting to protect hunting, fishing, and trapping for sportsmen from coast to coast. Today, we are under constant attack from extremist animal rights groups who want to end your ability to hunt in the U.S. Join us to protect our sporting heritage and our way of life outdoors. To join or for more information on how you can help, go to ussportsman.org. That's ussportsman.org.
Looking for shooting instruction but don't know where to go? Well, we have it, and you can access hours of training and safety videos, which you can watch on your home computer.
On GunTalkTV.com, we have top competitive shooters, the best in self-defense trainers, and folks who have hunted all over the world, helping you learn which gun to buy, how to use it, how to store it safely, and everything else you need to be a safe and competent shooter. We also have gun makers showing off their newest rifles, shotguns, and handguns. Doesn't matter if you're a veteran shooter or a complete beginner. You'll find what you need at GunTalkTV.com. You can check it out for free, and you can get full access for only $5.95 a month. That gives you unlimited access to hundreds of videos, and we're adding more all the time. Run the videos over and over to make sure you understand what's being said. Skip around. You're in control. Get smarter. Shoot better. Visit GunTalkTV.com.
The new Walther PPX offers a smooth trigger, ambidextrous magazine release, 3 integral safeties, rugged construction, and the famous Walther ergonomic grip. All this at a great price. Right now, get a free magazine, holster, and dual mag pouch when you purchase a PPX. Feel the perfect fit of the Walther PPX at your local gun dealer or go to WaltherArms.com for more information. That's WaltherArms.com.
You don't need a smartphone to listen to Gun Talk online. Just log on to guntalk.com and click the Listen tab for options that'll let you listen right on your computer. Here again, Tom Gresham as Gun Talk continues.
All right, back with you, 866 Talk Gun. We're live. We are talking about guns and ammo and anything. It doesn't matter. How are you going to secure your guns? It doesn't matter. If it's about guns, well, as long as we talk about using them safely and responsibly, we'll talk about it here. Again, 866 Talk Gun, or just easier, 1 Tom Talk Gun will get you in. Of course, you can shoot me an email, tom@guntalk.com. We also have the Twitter feed going, @GunTalk. That's me over on Twitter. And I've had people say, well, how do I keep up with everything that's going on? Well, it's easy. You just follow me on Twitter. I have a virtual gun rights news feed going on there. So you'll be getting updates as they happen, frankly. We're sending out several a day, and it pops up, and you go, wow, cool. And then you can either click on the link or not. Just depends on what your interest is or what you have time for. No, I do not ever sleep. That's correct. Thank you, Jim. Sleep is highly overrated, and I'll have time. What do they say? You can sleep when you're dead. There you go. All right, let's go talk to Lee. He's on line 4. Lee, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. You asked why the president wouldn't help Sergeant Tamarisi. Well, it's because his case and Shanine's case are the same case with one exception. Yeah. She's a she, he's a he. So the she, I think if you have more billboards go up, perhaps you should work in the war on women, because I think that's how the gun control issue is applying here.
Let me ask you a question. While we were talking here, somebody in the studio brought up, says, he's thinking that maybe Obama plans to do something about Tamarisi like 2 days before the midterm election to use him as a political card to play. What do you think?
Too little, too late. I think he has a whole lot of other motivations for keeping it as it is. That's not one of them. I don't see that happening. That would not pay off for him.
Well, I don't think it would pay off. I agree with you, it wouldn't, but I wouldn't put it past him to use this jailed American Marine in Mexico as a political pawn either.
He is currently using him as a political pawn. For one thing, it's a diversionary crisis that keeps people from noticing other things that this president is doing on purpose.
And look at my left hand and don't look at what I'm doing. Yeah, don't look at what I'm doing with my other hand.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, you may be onto something. Like I appreciate the call, sir. Yeah, it's a distressing situation. And as I say, the truth be known, if President Obama was a real commander-in-chief, and if he really cared about this Marine, he could get him back in the United States with a single phone call. But I'm left with the conclusion he doesn't care. He's too busy fundamentally changing America, of course. That's what he wanted to do. We're going to fundamentally change America. You're seeing how that's going. Not so well. 866-TALK-GUN. 866-TALK-GUN will get you in here. Range reports. What are you shooting? What are you buying? And what are you thinking about buying? Hey, I'll give you permission. Just call me.
Gun Talk stands for safety, personal responsibility, and common courtesy. To be a part of the show, call 1-TOM-TALK-GUN. Gun Talk will be right back.
All right, let's go straight to the phones. On line 3, Jack is with us out of Sparks, Nevada. Hey, Jack, what you looking for?
Hey, Tom. Hope you're well. Hey, look, before I get to my question, you asked some input on those ads at NRAs, those segments they're running on TV.
Mm-hmm.
They're running them out here in northern Nevada, and I noticed them right away. They're excellent. Really well done.
They really are. The first time I saw it, I just thought, man, I love this thing. I don't know who this is for, but I love it. And then it got to the end, it was the NRA, and I went, holy cow, that was outstanding.
Yeah, real inspirational. I mean, you almost want to stand up and salute the flag when they get done.
Yep.
Look, Tom, I called last week on a range report for a guy that was looking to buy a Rock Island 1911. Well, now I need some help.
Okay.
If you can give me just a little boost on a direction to, I'm looking for a vehicle mount for my shotgun. I want to put it in the back of my Jeep, something that's fairly versatile. I can mount it in maybe a few different places where it can't be seen, but I want to lock it into place.
Now, tell me, what kind of Jeep? Are we talking CJ, Wrangler, or Wagoneer? What are we talking about here?
Yeah, it's a Wrangler. It's a 2008, and it's, you really can't see that well inside. The windows are tinted. It's kind of got the shell on it. You're familiar with the vehicle, sure. All
right. There are several brands out there. Smittybilt, SMITTYBILT. Tuffy is another one. If you just do an internet search, which I just did, for secure storage on Jeep, you will see an amazing array of possibilities for you, for ways to... Now, of course, the problem is Jeeps are fairly small, and trying to have a security for a full-size shotgun, there's just not that much room in the back of a Jeep.
Yeah, obviously it's a riot gun. It's a short barrel, but you're right. It is fairly long. And I'm familiar with Smittybilt. I have some of their products.
Okay.
But me and the wife were going to go shopping today, hit a couple of sporting goods shops, and we got some good ones out here. And I thought maybe if I could get a line on something, they might carry a few things I could mention to them.
Okay, well, yes, try Smittybilt, Quadratech, Tuffy. Again, if you just do grab Google or DuckDuckGo, one of the good, actually I prefer DuckDuckGo for my search engine because they don't track you like Google does, and do a little search for secure storage Jeep, you'll get a lot of options there. So there you go. Hey, look, I appreciate the call, and good luck with that. I want to drop all the way down and grab Tim on line 4 out of Carson City. Tim, we got 1 minute for you. You've been seeing these NRA ads?
I've seen those NRA ads. I was so impressed. I've tracked down the ad firm. It's Ackerman McQueen out of Oklahoma, and the executive director of their D.C. office called me back because I left a message saying how impressed I was and what a great job they're doing, and he was so thankful. And now they have 15 of them. They have I think you've seen the link where you can get it on YouTube.
Yeah, you can see the whole link. And I sat there and watched every one of them this morning.
Yeah. That there's no way anyone can be against it because they're all non-political. Who's going to be against being a good neighbor or wanting privacy?
Except when you watch it on YouTube, then go down and read the comments, and you'll find some people are straining because they're so anti-gun and so anti-NRA. They're trying to find a way to be negative about it, and they're going, oh, sure, you went and got the Asian guy. Well, yeah, actually, it's, And then I love the one where they say, well, yeah, you got this woman, and she's a model. I'm thinking, no, you doofus. That's Julie Golub. She's a world champion shooter. You'd have no idea who this person is. So thanks, Tim. I appreciate that. Ackerman McQueen, ACMAC. I'm glad to hear they're doing this. They have done a lot of good work in the past and some that I have questioned, but in this case, this is off the charts excellent. I highly recommend. Go to YouTube, look for the NRA Good Guy ad campaign. I think you will like it. In fact, I know you're going to like it. So 866-TALK-GUN. When we come back, we got some news.
from the legislative front.
No black helicopters here, just the facts about gun rights and gun ownership. This is Gun Talk.